Tonight's truly terrifying tale is called Read This. Your afterlife depends upon it. I'm the leader of the Society of Atheism, or at least I was in my youth. I spread my beliefs across the world. But now, I'm on my deathbed. 50 years of traveling the world takes a toll on your body. The last thing I remember was the flatline. The horrid noise was the last thing I heard before my consciousness left my body. To where? Well, it may be hard to believe, but I traveled to my subconscious. I was met by the Grim Reaper in front of a bridge. The first thing I did was cheer for all the teaching I had done. I always hoped there was an afterlife. Congratulations. You win, the Herald of Death's voice boomed. You win. I win? I asked. You win, the Reaper nodded. First person to guess the truth of the afterlife. I'm truly impressed. Dread filled my body. You see, I had been running experiments with the U.S. prison system. We would bring prisoners to the brink of death, and then we would resuscitate them. What we found was shocking. As the brain approaches death, its activity increased exponentially, while the amount of time that energy was produced for decreased exponentially. What I found more astounding was each person would claim they had seen the afterlife, but they'd all seen the afterlife they believed. The atheists experienced darkness. Religious people were being punished for their sins, but the truly disturbed criminals saw themselves rewarded for their actions. Clan members experienced themselves being rewarded by God. ISIS members were praised for furthering God's will. I started to develop a theory. I pondered the possibility that as the brain approached death, it recognized this and placed you into whatever afterlife you believed in. Since this changed exponentially, people can experience an eternity in the afterlife with their brain only expending a finite amount of energy over a finite amount of time. However, I was never confident enough to publish my research, so I have condemned my followers to an eternity of darkness. Hopefully, they took Pascal's wager. The last thing I tweeted about before my death, but since I obliterated the idea and called it a mockery, I sincerely doubt it. I collapsed to the imaginary floor and wept before formulating a plan. The Reaper looked at me with unnerving stoicism. I looked back at him with newfound steel in my eye. I had transferred my thoughts to him, which I can do, considering I recognize myself to be the god in this new plane of existence. My subconscious? They're both decent plans, and I know you find the first one more noble. But you also recognize that you will most likely stop in little time, the Reaper said thoughtfully. So I suggest you cut to the chase and start plan 2. My first plan had been to join my fellow members of the society. My first plan had been to join my fellow members of the Society of Atheism in an eternity of darkness. My second plan was to create a near-flawless replica of the world I lived in and ignore my abilities unless absolutely necessary. The only difference would be was that I was 30 years younger. Now, I watch TV next to my resurrected wife. And I'm typing this on my phone. You may be celebrating right about now, don't. No, not just yet. You see, I can't promise you a perfect afterlife. I did the calculations. For my mind, create a perfect simulation for all the people who will die. It would reduce my eternity as a god to mere hours. I could abolish death, but I won't. I want to make my afterlife as similar to the real world as possible. So your afterlife will be an atheist one, unless I'm wrong. There's a slight possibility, a mere hope that this post breaks into the real world. There's a test to see if it has. If the White House, the residence of the U.S. president for any international readers, is 1598 Pennsylvania Avenue. Sorry, you are out of luck. If the address is 1599 Pennsylvania Avenue, congratulations. There's still hope. If it is 1599, look out for Dr. Marlison's office in Northwestern Neuroscience Branch. You will find my research there, and please, spread it to the world. If the address does say 1598, please don't disturb me. You don't want to upset a god. I know. Regardless of the address, you will not believe me, but I implore you, please do. The fate of the world is at stake. Best regards, Dr. Milfiso Malrician. What? What is the address? What's the address of the White House? I don't know. Do you know? Hit me up in the comments below if you know the address of the White House, because I know only the address of the Black House, because this is the darkest part of the internet, the dark web, the deep web, where only dark things exist. Black clothes, black lipstick, black eyeliner, the Black House. No White House. There is no president. This is anarchy. Fuck you. Good night. These are getting better.